I'm not too optimistic about the future of humanity. I'm not a mystic or anything, but it ain't looking too bright. People are f***ing each other over the internet. 1/3 of the youth are watching VTubers.
This is like George Orwell's book, 1984.
We've gone too far off the edge. Soon enough, the whole world is going to be like Brazil. Generation Z is already far gone, but Generation Alpha, I think it is, you're born after 2010. Yeah, they're just people are living depressed, unfulfilling lives. They're atomized, disconnected from everybody around them. Just milling around in their little apartments, playing with their worm. They live a life that is completely not conducive to healthy psychology. The way we've developed for thousands and thousands of years, that's not how we're living today. We have no hose, no bread, and no hope. So what do? We escape. We boot up the computer, we play video games, we watch anime, we indulge in escapism, where we can get away from real life, because real life blows ass. What happened when the Modelo infection swept the world? We looked to technology. We jumped into the virtual world. And increasingly, escapism is becoming a new way of life for most people. Escapism can mean drugs or alcohol or anything that helps you get out of your day-to-day life, but when I talk about it here, I'm talking about it through the lens of technology and fantasy. Escapism has been around forever. Stories we'd tell, plays we'd go to, but in recent years, it's accelerated to a degree where it's gotten so advanced at doing its job, and it's even more disconnected from real life. We went from telling stories, to reading books, to watching plays, to watching movies, to playing video games, and now we have virtual reality. There are different degrees of escapism, but we've seen a shift in our culture towards the more extreme. The most popular movies used to be solely based in reality. It abided by all the laws in reality. Now, the most popular movies are superhero movies. They're very hyperbolic. They do things that are not possible in the real world. Anime and its rise in popularity is another manifestation of that. In our fantasies, we usually look for things that are not available to us in the real world, that we're not able to find in the real world. Many men look to the hub or romance anime or reality shows to get this sense that they have hoes. Many people play video games to get a sense of progression, to get guaranteed yield from their hard work, upgrade their stats, skill trees. This is something very appealing to the human psychology. In real life, they might feel like no matter how hard they try, they're not getting any results. I know in my case, I look for adventure in my fantasy. I want a sense of exploration, a sense of wonder that I haven't felt in the real world since I was a child. Sometimes the real world pales in comparison to our escapism because that's the point. People create these worlds for them to be better than the one we live in. For adventure, when I watch a shonen anime or when I play a video game, I can explore these super wonderful areas with crazy architecture and, like floating shit. I'll go outside in the city and I'll just see some guy like shitting on the street. There's this whole meme in the anime community where guys will say 2D is better than 3D. They're falling in love with cartoon bitches, and I think they're weird for that. 2D can't be better than 3D because, these anime girls simply aren't material, but, on the other hand, they're made to be better than real girls. It makes sense because these anime bitches are crafted to be better than normal bitches. That is what is intended by the people creating them. They have giant, disproportionately large tits and purple eyes, not like normal bitch. Life just isn't fair, and it's a recognized fallacy to think that it is. Just like in a video game, people are born into different difficulties. If you're born, a gay guy in Syria, that's hardcore mode. If you're born a rich hot girl in Vancouver, that's very easy mode. In real life, you're bound by your genetics, by your environment, but in a game, you can be whoever you want to be. Imagine you start a new survival game in Minecraft, but you spawn in the Nether. You just don't have the ability to get out because you don't have wood, you don't have any of the resources. Where, bro, some people are born into creative mode. They just have all these resources at their fingertips. They could do whatever the fuck they want. There's a lot of beauty in fantasy and escapism. People using their minds to create entire new worlds to retreat to. The problem is there's a saturation point. Real life will always catch up to you. You can escape, but it's not forever. If there wasn't a saturation point, if there was a method of escapism so powerful that you could leave the real world forever and never come back, I would do it in a heartbeat. There wouldn't be any question about it. But that's simply not the case. To be able to escape forever, you would need time and money. But even in the event that you had all of these resources, eventually, escaping would just become your normal. Your brain would continue to produce more dopamine receptors that have to be met by this stimulation, and it would just keep on upping the level of dopamine you need to be satisfied. So we would need a technology so powerful that the neuroplasticity of our brains would not be able to keep up with. It would have to be that advanced. I don't think the metaverse has those capabilities. It's not that sweet yet. Real life might have no hope for you. It might really suck, but according to all evidence that we have, if you develop a reliance on escapism, it only makes things worse. The more you need escapism, the worse your life is, the more toxic it becomes. Escapism is only a good thing if you use it in moderation. So yeah, if there's going to be a point to this video, I guess it's just use moderation, but it's really not that simple. It's way easier said than done. If you've developed an addiction, that means you're unable to moderate it. That's the definition of an addiction. So you probably have to stop for a while. And despite all this research, I feel like there were times in my life where if I didn't have these methods of escape, I might have ended my life. I know it's really dark, or I might have developed some sort of neurosis that would have haunted me for the rest of my life. I feel like escapism can be an iron lung. It keeps us going, but at what cost, you know? Is it possible we've developed such a reliance on escapism that it's too late? Will the world become so intolerable that escapism is our only option? Maybe, but I don't think we've gotten there quite yet. And I would advocate to moderate your escapism, like an hour a day, and be honest with yourself. If you can't moderate it, stop. Go through that hell a little while, delay gratification to make your life better. It's only just going to make you happier. It's for your mental health, you know? I hate to end that video with that cheesy ass advice, but given the research that we have, it's just a completely fair thing to say. But I'm not touching the metaverse with a 10-foot pole. Fuck that shit. It's too far. It's creepy as hell. I'm not doing it. Unless they have cat girls. I don't know. I might have to make